as you heard, I think you heard, I am a juggler, but I'm not here because I'm a juggler. How many of you had to juggle your schedules to get here this morning? And how many of you have more than one hat you have to wear in your job? And how many of you have ever tried to balance a checkbook? Now, these are metaphors of juggling, and I'm not here because I'm a juggler. I am here because everyone in the room is a juggler. And if you look at the idea of excellence, it is very clear that there are many things that are involved. I mean, excellence is not just putting together a quality product. Excellence is not just having good marketing. Excellence is not just having good relationships with your employees. Excellence is not having a good facility. Excellence is this and all of these things and a lot more. And so in a sense, every single person in here, as they strive for excellence, looks something like this. Now this is simplified right now because you deal with more than just three things. But in the sense that this is you. This is you in your pursuit of excellence. This is you trying to stay up with the things that you need to be up on and get down on the details that need to make a difference in your business. This is you sending an invoice. This is you doing strategic planning. And this is you answering email. And if you don't recognize yourself yet, this is you first thing in the morning. And here you are driving to work. Your favorite song comes on. Oh yeah. But then you get into work and the grind begins every day. Or is it a grind? Is it a joyful thing when you get into work, where you're ready to greet that day and attack that work and enjoy that work? I think it's both. It's work and it's joy. You know, it's a privilege to have a job. And it's a great privilege to have a job that you love. And this is, in a sense, how we all look as we strive towards excellence. But this is not just the people in the room. This is a worldwide striving. This is how people all around the world look. And in different places it looks a little different. In the United States it looks a little more like this. Because we're climbing the ladder of success. And in different places in the United States it looks different. Like you might recognize this. California. Just a little more relaxed there. And you might recognize this is like New York. And then you get to Lehigh Valley and looks a little different, but of course in Lehigh Valley some great and interesting things can happen. That details are followed. And that's not how most people think it works. Most people think the juggling act of excellence just goes like this. And this of course does work. This is the great circle of life. What goes around, what comes around. The seeds you plant are the seeds you grow. But there's a very interesting thing about this particular juggle, and I'd like to show it to you right now. It's a lesson for business and life, and it's this, that if you tried juggling, but you did not know how to do three, you probably did something like this. Does this look familiar? People are like, yeah, I'm pretty good. Check this out. And that is good. What you probably didn't do is this. And this is just a little bit more complicated. It doesn't feel quite the same. But what it does is it uses your resources more fully. Both hands are throwing, both hands are catching, opposed to this, which just seems right and fast. But this is a little different. But when you get to three, the way that was easiest, just going in a circle like this, suddenly becomes harder because it's faster and there's less room for error. But this way, which was more confusing and more difficult to do with two, suddenly becomes the easy way, because it slows everything down and actually simplifies it, even though it's more complex, which I think is the rule. It's the lesson that just because something's simple, it's easy to see, doesn't mean that it's the best practice. Sometimes the things that are the best practices are a little bit more complicated. But if you take the time to do your training, you take the time to do your planning, they work out best. And the thing is, there's all these choices. There are choices, and sometimes this may be the best way to go. Jugglers actually have a name for this juggle. This is called the shower. And I think it's a good idea to do the shower about once a day. In that pursuit of excellence, personal hygiene matters. But it's not enough just to do the shower. You have to get in the shower. And under the leg's important. So is under the other leg. And so is under the arms. Although sometimes people say, this is the pits. But it does not have to be, because we have all these choices. We have so many ways that we can move towards excellence. We have the worldwide way, and we have the United States way, and the Californian way, and the New York way, and the Lehigh Valley way. And it is a case that there are so many different possibilities that many people start to get confused. And so then we come up with this question, well, what do you do? And what you do is you slow down and you think it through. You use your head. Oh. So this is what my boss was talking about. He said, use your head. Now our head has inside of it a brain. And the brain has two parts. And this is just one part, one side here. This might be my logical side. But it's also important to use the other side, which is the creative side, which our person today who's unemployed said she can go very quickly from one side to the other. It's a very handy thing to be creative and logical. And if we can't do that, we need to assemble the teams that can. Because when we do that, we start to see connections. And life and business are all about connections, putting the dots together to figure out how things work best. And when we do this, we can turn our work and our lives around and reach new heights. Although there is a ceiling effect.